is Bryant Harden. I'm a fifth-year Ph.D. candidate at the University of Florida. I study international relations, and my project is mainly examining, it's using an interpretive analysis to speak to Mongolians and other Peace Corps volunteers in Mongolia to sort of see exactly how these development programs work sort of on the ground, right? So we get the discourse, right, that we typically get from DC or from the organization, but just speaking to people to see how it works sort of on an everyday level, everyday basis, yeah. So the fieldwork in Mongolia is sort of crucial to my dissertation. The first couple of chapters are a discourse analysis, right, of U.S. development programming. But the third and fourth chapter are interviews, right? It's speaking to Mongolians and sort of hearing their opinions about development programming in the Peace Corps specifically, what volunteers are doing, how that influence has sort of occurred, right, or if it has occurred and what's happened, and their perceptions of it. So without these interviews sort of on the ground in Mongolia, you're not able to really capture that, right, as well as I think you could just by reading somebody's opinion in a book or something. Right. So I'm in Mongolia for a total of just over 3 weeks, and so, you know, it's been good. I've tried to not just focus on UB, right, but to also try to get out to the countryside and speak to people. So I traveled to Salingarmek, went to Supatr and also Saling, or Shamersom, and then I flew to Hovdarmek and met with many teachers and school directors, students, etc. And then many interviews obviously have happened in UB, right? The majority of the population's here. So it's been going well. I think I'll finish with about 40 interviews, which is a success for me. You know, so that's 2 per day, excluding sort of even with the travel. And the interviews are taken, you know, an hour, 2 hours each, and sort of using my contacts to you know, meet new people, but also talk to those people who I experienced Peace Corps with. Right. Yeah, I mean, COVID has just, I think, been a mess for field work. I mean, it's been, I originally was hoping to come last summer, and I think the tickets were, if you could even get a ticket, it was $10,000, $11,000, which is, you know, unreal. So I had to postpone that. And even actually coming on this trip, you know, a week before, Korean Air canceled a flight, had me doing a 4-day layover in Seoul. I had to change stuff really quickly, you know, just, you know, the COVID test, all that kind of stuff. But also, I mean, I was coming into UB kind of as the mayor was loosening restrictions. And so that's also been sort of a difficult aspect. I mean, if you're interviewing people face to face, right, you have to be very conscious of wearing a mask or not wearing a mask or having your distance. So, you know, it's been difficult to navigate, but ultimately I think the timing was appropriate, right, because things are loosening up in Mongolia, so it's worked out well. I mean, I think generally for those researchers who will come this summer, you know, of course I'm assuming that they've done their research to know what to expect, but, you know, one really big thing for me has been the traffic. It's, I mean, I know every Mongolian is talking about it these days. It's like talking about the weather, I guess, but I mean, it's unreal. I mean, if you're planning to go somewhere, you have to really plan for that, right? Especially when you're trying to pack in interviews, right? If you're trying to do 4 interviews a day some days, right? Like today I did 4. You know, you have to, you know, be ready to walk a lot, right? But generally, other than that, I think things are loosening up. Even like yesterday, I think it was, they actually changed the PCR test requirement for folks coming into Mongolia. So, you know, I think summer will hopefully, you know, be very kind of relaxed and accessible for many researchers.